When a company builds its core product on top of another company's technology, there is this constant underlying tension. It is, well, it is honestly just like renting an apartment.
Because you can paint the walls, you can buy expensive furniture, but at the end of the day, you just do not own the building.
And if your landlord suddenly if they decide to double the rent, or worse, change the locks while you are out, you are on the street. Welcome to episode 561 of AI Brief. I am your host, Amin, and alongside me is my co-host, Leah.
We have gathered the latest internal benchmark data, corporate earnings, and geopolitical updates for you today. And our mission in this deep dive is to extract the signal from the noise so you can stay ahead of the curve.
Today's main menu is packed. We are looking at Meta's surprise drop of a top-tier image model that proves their internal AI kitchen is cooking up something serious. We will also explore Beijing's sudden move to restrict Chinese AI exports.
And finally, we will break down how DoorDash is using a highly clever AI pairing strategy to hunt down software bugs. You know, the underlying theme connecting every single one of these developments for you today is control. It is a fierce battle over independence.
We are watching a real-time shift in who owns the smartest models, who's allowed to use them, and why everyone from massive social media giants to enterprise software companies is suddenly desperate to bring their AI infrastructure in-house. Let's kick things off with Meta, leaning right into that theme of tech giants taking their destiny into their own hands.
Because a few days ago, Alexander Wang from Superintelligence Labs was talking a very big game online. He claimed their in-training watermelon model had pulled level with GPT 5.5.
He was teasing social media users, basically saying, you're going to love what we have cooking. Now, usually I take that kind of pre-launch hype with a massive grain of salt, but Meta just served up something that actually backs it up.
Muse Image.
Yes, Muse Image. This is the debut image model from Wang's team, and it just opened at number 2 on the Arena leaderboards. The absolute only thing ahead of it is OpenAI's GPT Image 2.
That is a massive leap. But are we supposed to just believe they suddenly vaulted over almost everyone else? I mean, how much of this is clever marketing versus actual undeniable benchmark dominance?
That skepticism is entirely fair, but opening at number 2 on the Arena leaderboard is not something you can easily fake with marketing. The Arena operates on crowdsourced, blind A/B testing.
Users prompt 2 anonymous models side by side and vote on the better output.
And hitting number 2 there provides the hard receipts. It makes the hype surrounding their other projects, like that watermelon model, much harder to dismiss.
Okay, so the performance is real, but the technical details are what genuinely caught my eye. Muse Image does not just generate a picture, it combines with another tool called Muse Spark,
giving it what they call agentic abilities. This means the model can perform web searches, utilize external tools, and actually edit its own outputs to achieve better results.
How does an image generator even use agentic abilities? What is the actual mechanism there?
It fundamentally changes the workflow. Normally, generating AI imagery is a human-led loop. You type a prompt, the AI gives you an image, you realize the hands look weird.
So you type a new prompt to fix it.
Precisely. Muse Spark automates that entire refinement loop. The model generates the initial image, acts as its own critic, realizes it missed a detail from your prompt, and invisibly edits its own work before it ever presents the final file to you.
That is wild. It is like having an art director built into the software.
And this is completely free inside Meta AI. It is rolling out across Instagram and WhatsApp first, with Facebook, Messenger, and their massive ads platform getting it later. Plus, Meta dropped a teaser for a Muse video model,
which is already previewing at number 3 on the Arena leaderboard behind Seedance 2.0 and Gemini OmniFlash.
Going back to our earlier analogy, Meta is clearly moving from being a tenant to being a landlord. Previously, they were renting their creative AI capabilities from Midjourney and Black Forest Labs. Now, they are pouring concrete for their own high-performance skyscrapers.
The necessity of that shift becomes glaringly obvious when you consider the sheer scale at which Meta operates. A powerful image model and an incoming video model represents a massive strategic win for them. Think about the volume of creative needs across their ecosystem.
You have billions of daily users generating social media posts, chatting in groups, and businesses creating millions of targeted advertisements.
Relying on an external provider to run the core engine powering all of that visual content is a massive vulnerability. Every time a user generates an image, if Meta is paying API fees to a third party, well, their margins bleed.
Bringing it entirely in-house eliminates the middleman, crushes their long-term operational costs, and allows them to deeply weave the AI into the specific fabric of their own apps.
So it makes total sense that a company like Meta wants to hoard its own AI power.
But what happens when an entire nation decides to do the exact same thing? That brings us to a major geopolitical shift. While companies want to control internal tools, governments are increasingly focused on controlling global access to tools. Beijing is reportedly discussing new rules that would severely restrict the export and foreign use of China's strongest AI models.
Chinese commerce officials recently held high-level meetings with key players like ByteDance, Alibaba, and Zhipu AI to discuss limiting foreign use of their top models.
The specific models sitting at the center of this restriction discussion are Qwen, Dubao, and GLM 5.2. And there's a very clear reason why commerce officials are focused on these three.
They have been gaining massive traction globally, specifically among developers and enterprise businesses, because they offer incredibly low costs combined with highly efficient, strong performance.
The discussions reportedly covered a really wide net. They are looking at restricting both closed and open models, placing limits on foreign startup funding in the AI sector, and introducing severe penalties for leaking proprietary AI data.
This is essentially an Unimo reverse card, because Washington ran this exact same play back in June with Anthropic's Fable and Mythos.
And OpenAI's GPT 5.6 faced intense launch scrutiny over foreign access as well.
After the Mythos and Fable precedent was set, the global market realized how rapidly model access can vanish purely for political reasons. Beijing, moving in the same direction, introduces a very real two-sided risk for you, the user.
Western developers and businesses building on these platforms could suddenly lose access to these cost-effective Chinese models overnight, which perfectly sets up our next question. With all these top-tier proprietary models getting locked down by governments, are open-source options finally good enough for heavy enterprise-level work?
DoorDash just provided a highly compelling answer. They recently detailed a new internal benchmark called Dash Bench.
It is completely designed to test how well AI can review their internal code. They tested AI code reviewers against 105 past code changes.
Because everyday feedback mechanisms only track the bugs that the AI actually flags. They had absolutely no way to count the bugs the AI was missing, which is classic survivorship bias.
To solve this, you need that ground truth of 105 known bugs to see the AI's actual failure rate. The results of that test are fascinating. When they deployed models to review the code entirely alone, the AI only caught between 20 and 30% of the problems.
But when DoorDash paired two different Claude models together, that success rate jumped to just over half.
The winning combination was highly unexpected, though. They paired the free-to-download Kimi K2.6 model with Claude Fable 5.
That is an unusual pairing.
It really is. And the specific combination caught roughly 2/3 of the total problems, including 8 out of 10 critical bugs. And the cost for this high level of accuracy was just $3.81 per review.
Co-founder Andy Fang noted this gives them confidence to bring open models into the pipeline for better quality, cheaper cost.
But how does that actually work in practice? You do not just dump code into two models at the same time and hope they agree.
It is all about intelligent orchestration. Think of it as using a broad net and a magnifying glass. Kimi K2.6 is a free, highly efficient open model. DoorDash uses it as the broad net.
So it sweeps through the massive code base quickly.
And cheaply, flagging anything that looks remotely suspicious. It doesn't need to be perfectly accurate, it just needs to be fast. Then, the system hands only those specific flagged sections over to Claude Fable 5.
Which acts as the magnifying glass.
Exactly that. Fable 5 determines if a flagged line is actually a critical bug or just a false positive. Running Fable 5 on the entire codebase would be incredibly expensive. Pairing them gives you the speed of open source with the precision of a top-tier proprietary model.
Doing this level of rigorous AI research proves that every major company needs to be testing and benchmarking their own internal processes right now. You cannot simply plug in a single, expensive proprietary model and assume it's the optimal solution.
The DoorDash experiment demonstrates that open source efficiency has reached a point where it is simply too good to ignore.
Let's shift gears. To round out the picture today, what else is happening across the AI landscape?
Moving over to the broader industry, we are tracking several significant updates today. Anthropic is aggressively expanding its ecosystem. Claude Cowork is now officially available on web and mobile beta.
That is a pretty big workflow shift.
It absolutely is. It allows you to kick off complex tasks from your desktop, receive progress updates on your phone while commuting, and access the final product from any device. Importantly, they also introduced scheduled tasks, which will run in the background even if your computer is completely turned off.
So the heavy processing is fully delegated to their cloud servers.
Yes, and this rollout is starting initially with their Mac subscribers. Additionally, Anthropic extended access to Fable 5 on paid plans through July 12, reversing a previous plan to move that model to usage credits this week.
What about the hardware side of things?
Shifting to hardware and corporate earnings, Samsung just delivered a staggering quarter. They raked in an estimated quarterly operating profit of $58 billion in Q2. That is an increase of roughly 1,810% from the previous year.
Wait, $58 billion?
Yes, that massive number allowed Samsung to out-earn both NVIDIA at $54 billion and Apple at $38 billion. However, despite those record-breaking numbers, Wall Street reacted coldly. Samsung's stock actually fell 7% following the report.
I suppose they got caught in that broader market sell-off.
They did. It impacted chip and memory stocks as investors adjusted their long-term growth expectations. Meanwhile, in the AI research community, Tufa Labs claimed first place in the ARC-AGI-3 milestone contest, taking home the $37,500 prize.
How did they manage that?
They achieved this by taking a small QN model and cleverly wrapping it inside an open-source coding agent to successfully tackle the highly complex game-based benchmark. Furthermore, on the enterprise software front, Microsoft is making a major internal shift.
Let me guess, moving away from external models.
Reports indicate they are replacing Anthropic models with their own in-house MAI models for generating prompts within Excel and Outlook. Mustafa Suleyman is reportedly pushing this initiative to ultimately eliminate Microsoft's Anthropic bill entirely. Finally, Figma has hired the team behind Bud, an AI app builder and agent platform formerly known as Orchids.
That Microsoft news is the perfect reflection of the theme we discussed earlier. Just like Meta bringing image generation in-house, Microsoft is aggressively moving to own its infrastructure and cut out the middlemen. Now, let's look at today's trending AI tools. We have a robust list of new releases, and we want to highlight exactly how you could apply these to your daily workflow right now. First up is Muse Image, Meta's new AI image generator.
The one natively integrated into their apps.
Yeah, so imagine you are organizing a community event within a WhatsApp group chat. Instead of searching the web for generic graphics, you can generate customized, high-quality images natively inside the chat interface to build excitement instantly. Next is HY3, an open-source model from Tencent designed for cheat agent deployment.
Which would be perfect for small businesses.
If you run a small e-commerce store, you could deploy HY3 to act as an automated customer service agent, handling shipping inquiries and return policies around the clock at a fraction of the cost. Then we have Willow Frontier Mini, which offers free, unlimited AI dictation.
Unlimited dictation changes the game for long meetings.
It really does. Picture an entire afternoon spent brainstorming. You can leave this model running on a laptop to transcribe every spoken word perfectly, capturing all the nuanced ideas without ever having to watch the clock. We also have Gemini Managed Agents, which provides an agent API equipped with background tasks.
You could use that for competitor research.
Exactly, setting up an agent to continuously scrape competitor pricing data across various websites in the background while you focus on product development. Next is Spear, a trigger-based outbound platform. For a startup CEO trying to scale their outreach, Spear allows you to personalize your LinkedIn sales messages based on specific trigger events.
Like a promotion or new funding.
The moment a prospect receives a promotion, the system queues up a personalized message. Non-Verbia is another great tool designed to turn chaotic video meetings into actionable insights. You dump the recording of a messy meeting into Non-Verbia, and it extracts clear, assigned action items to distribute to your team.
I know so many teams that desperately need that.
Then there is Ziz, which allows you to build and publish mobile apps using AI without coding. A local bakery owner could use this platform to build a custom mobile loyalty app, complete with digital punch cards, without writing a single line of code.
That completely undercuts traditional app development agencies.
Next on the list is Cubist, which turns simple text prompts into high-definition product mockups in seconds, elevating the visual quality of a pitch deck for a big meeting. Finally, Arcads creates realistic, user-generated content videos. You feed one single marketing script into Arcads, and it generates multiple realistic videos featuring different AI avatars delivering your message.
When you look at that list of tools, the combinatorial power is just incredible. You could easily take just two of those tools and launch an entirely new business concept over a weekend.
Like combining arcades and zoo.
Yes, you use Arcads to instantly generate a diverse suite of marketing videos for social media ads, and use Z to build the actual storefront or loyalty app to capture those customers. The barrier to entry for complex digital operations is practically vanishing for anyone willing to learn how to orchestrate these systems.
Considering how rapidly companies like DoorDash are mixing and matching different models, and how giants like Microsoft and Meta are relentlessly building in-house, a clear picture emerges. The future of AI is not about relying on one single massive God model to solve every problem. The future belongs to the conductor.
It is about learning how to orchestrate a highly personalized, cost-effective mix of open and closed systems.
But this leaves you with a pretty massive question to chew on. If every single company, from DoorDash to Microsoft, becomes their own AI landlord by mixing open models and building in-house, what happens to the massive AI startups we have been praising for the last 2 years? If nobody wants to pay their exorbitant API rental fees anymore, are those massive foundation model companies destined to become the empty shopping malls of the internet? Just massive, expensive structures with no actual tenants inside. Something for you to think about as you navigate this space. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Be sure to follow the podcast and share it with a friend or colleague who needs to stay ahead of the AI curve. See you in the next episode.